What is up, everyone? It is DJ Martini Midwest Reviews coming at you with another video for my channel. Today we have a DJ controller. It's called the Universal DJ controller. It is from Hercules. It is an older controller. It's been out for a while. It's almost 10 years old, but it's still a pretty good piece of tech, and they're still selling it today, so it still must be a decent controller that people are still picking it up. Definitely want to talk about it because you can do some different things, and it was one of the first coming out that was really working with iPads and different things like that. So we definitely want to talk about it. I wanted to talk about ins and outs, some issues that I had, and also some issues that might be talked about out there. And so we're going to go over the controller. I'm not going to go over like buttons and certain things. I just want to talk about more like hookup and how it's working and things like that. I will get into just a brief overview of the controller, but it's going to be kind of a little tutorial, but also kind of tell you what this controller is compatible with. Is something you just don't see a lot of questions asked or answered on this controller. So it's the Universal DJ controller from Hercules. It has a couple modes and things like that. We're gonna get all into it. I just want to say thank you for tuning in to DJ Martini Midwest Reviews. If you've never tuned in, just know I love to do all kinds of tutorials, help, reviews, answer questions, do all that research for you so you don't have to. Give it to you as easy as possible, and leave some links in case you're interested in some of the products that we talk about. So today we're talking about the Universal. Thank you for tuning in. If this is helpful at all, please leave a like, subscribe, or share. Join the Martini Nation. We are growing. It's steadily growing. It's awesome. Thank you so much to great subscribers like you guys out there. And let's get into the video. So I do have the DJ controller right here. We'll go ahead and unplug it right here. And here it is right here. It is a portable little controller, the Universal Hercules Universal DJ. That's what it's called. It's pretty cool, actually. It looks all right. It does have metal tops on these jog wheels. The only thing that I really feels the cheapest on this is the crossfaders. The crossfaders feel really cheap, plastic. They're for top DJs. They're not going to be too impressed with the crossfaders on this, but everything else, the knobs, push buttons, and all the buttons are very, very, very nice, including the pads here actually feel really nice. They light up pretty good, so that's impressive. It does have some decent connections. Here's a quarter jack for your headphones. It does have two little volumes too, and they get really loud, so you can definitely hear headphones. On the back, it does have an auxiliary in, and it does have an auxiliary out RCA and 3.5 millimeter jack. So that's pretty cool that it has 3.5 millimeter jack, which is good for, you're out to, a laptop or some speakers that, just use 3.5. So it could make it really easy for you to use an easy cable like that. Also, it does have the 3-mode button switch. So you have 3 modes, and we'll talk about that when we get a little bit closer, but it has that switch on the back, and it's actually color coded. So it's got red, blue, and green, and you can definitely look at that and match it up with the top up here. We'll talk about that in a second. It does have the pairing Bluetooth button, but pretty much goes into pairing mode anyways automatically once you go into that selection for going into a tablet mode or the multi-screen mode, which we'll talk about. So we're gonna go down, look at the controller, hook it up, and talk about some of the features and things that it has on it. It's pretty bare bones simple. It is just bare bones. It is made for new DJs, probably beginner DJs, but it's also made for DJs that want something portable that they can hook up to a tablet and also want to utilize Hercules DJ. I mean, that's what it's made for. It's made for their software. It's made for dejuiced software. And it works pretty well with dejuiced software as well. I've definitely tested it out, and there's some questions that we'll go in and out of. So let's change views. I'm going to go take you really close to this controller, and we'll talk about the buttons, setup, and a little bit like that. So let's get to it. All right, everybody, what is up? We are back, and I have the controller set up here. So we're going to take a quick look at it, show you a couple things, so you set up too as well, and get you all ready to go with this controller. So basically, let's just go over it real quick. So you do, up on the top, you have your Q, FX, sample, and loop. You have your pads. These pads are very nice. They're actually rubber buttons. They're not plastic buttons. They're not clicky. They feel fantastic, and so are your loop, sample, FX, and Q. You do have metal tops on the jog wheels. The jog wheels feel really, really nice. spin okay, everything's super solid. And you do have play, cue, sync, and shift. The only thing that, like I said, I really am not a big fan of is the way, just the way these feel. These feel really cheap, really plasticky, but they do work, so we'll put it that way. You do have nice knobs here. They feel really nice. And you do have the 3-band EQ with treble, mids, and bass. You do have your headphone cues, so you can cue which side your headphones you want to listen to, what channel. You do have load A and load B for your browser. So you have a browser, you click in to go through your different files and click out, but very, very cool browser knob. I like it when controllers have browser knobs. You do have the scratch feature, record, and your magic button. Your magic button is through the Dejuiced app, they have an assistant, and that will help you pick correct music for playing next songs through BPM or the rhythm of the song and things like that. It'll get you on the right direction of playing the right music to keep your crowd going. So that's what the magic button is. It does have scratch mode, and if you're not in scratch mode, then you're in able to nudge basically. You do have your pitch faders here, which do have some feedback to them, and that really does help to do a solid, beat match. So I do like that on these. And then this is an actually adjustment for your beats loops. So if you have loop on, you'll be able to go and go through more loops. And if you have samples on, you can go through pages of samples, FX, and cues as well. So very, very cool. You do have your shift button here as well to delete cues or things like that as well. So pretty cool. Same thing on this side, nothing different. And then on the back side, we'll go once again. You do have, this is your mix out, but you do have a 3.5 millimeter jack out, so you can just hook up to a little speaker as well. So that's pretty cool. You do have an auxiliary in, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later. It works really, really good with the Dejuiced app, but not so good with the virtual DJ. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. You do have your switch to go to your 3 modes and your USB plug and your pairing button as well, but it does go into USB pairing mode automatically when you take it to your tablet mode. So let's go ahead and plug it in. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into a universal battery here that I have and just show you that it's really easy to get going here. And then you would just plug in your RCAs to your input if you wanted to hook it up to sound. I'm not going to plug it in for sound right now. I'm not going to play anything. So, but you can see it's in like a sample mode, where it's just kind of showing you the lights. It is super bright. So I just want to see these lights are very bright. We're going to go ahead and put it in tablet mode so I can show you that first. So I'm in tablet mode. I'm going to go ahead and pairing mode here, and it is flashing in pairing mode. So we'll go ahead and go to my tablet here, and you can see that I have the Dejuiced app right here. And then once I go into there, I want to, once it flashes, that way I can pair it together with this. So there we go. Now it's in tablet mode, and it did pick up the Hercules mix, and we should be hooked up. Yep. You can see that I'm controlling. This is wireless. There's no wires to the Dejuiced app, and all the buttons will work. I can go through my browser here, and I can pick songs right here. I'm going to go ahead and go back, go to these songs, and I can load a song here. There we go. You can see that's pretty instant too. Everything's pretty good. I was pretty impressed with the latency on this. I'm going to load that song, and boom, you can see, and now I can play a song right here, and that's how that works. Really good. Crossfader, everything is working, the headphones, all that good stuff. And this is completely wireless on the Dejuiced app, and it's working in the tablet mode there. Now you can hook it up straight to a laptop, and then we go to the blue mode. So if I go ahead and close this, now I'm going to go ahead and unplug this, plug this into my laptop. Okay, we will also move this to computer mode by clicking that toggle in the back, and you can see that it's now in PC mode. It is controlling everything on my laptop for virtual DJ as a 2-channel controller. No problem there. Now the multi-screen mode, is going to work as a remote app, but that only works with the Dejuiced app. So if I was in Dejuiced software, then I could hook up like a remote app, wherein I can show you here real quick with the master app here, and it would give me a remote app. So that way, if I'm away from my PC and I wanted to just walk around the crowd with this and play some songs, I would still have the ability to do that, which is pretty cool with the remote app. So there are some videos out there. If anybody wants me to make a video on the remote app, I can. But like I said, it's just a remote app to be able to do a few things, but you can do some FX with it, loops, things like that. But that's about it. So I'm not going to get into super deep into the Dejuiced app because I'm not connected, so it won't let me go back and forth. But you do have volume control, play, sync, A/B channels, crossfader. You do have a chance to do some loops and samples and things like that. You can go through all those as well. So, but right now it won't let me go back because I'm not connected. So, but just to show you kind of what that remote app does. And that's how you would use the multi-screen. So not only do you have control on your laptop, but you have control on another app or device. So kind of what the multi-screen does. Other than that, I think that's about it. You saw that I was hooked up on mobile power as well. And then also it does have that auxiliary channel as well, but it works on the Dejuiced app, but I couldn't get it to work very well on Virtual DJ as an auxiliary channel. So, all right, let's wrap this up with some pros and cons and some extra little final feedback on the universal DJ controller from Hercules. Like I said, this is a great portable, easy to use DJ controller. It does fantastically fit in a backpack or whatever you need. It does have some weight to it. It does feel well built. Like, I'm impressed. There are some plastic, you know, it is plastic and things like that, but the buttons feel really nice. The pads feel really nice. The knobs feel good. The middle center browse knob is excellent. The only thing that I have a little bit of problem with is the crossfaders and the upfaders. They're not to my spec, but they do work. Pretty simple to use, pretty basic. A lot of people had issues with, you know, saying it was super complicated to use. I didn't find it super complicated except with certain softwares, but with the actual Dejuiced software that you're supposed to be using it with, it worked really, really good, which was super surprising to me. So excellent there. Let's talk about a price point on this. As a positive, it's around $250, like retail if you bought it brand spanking new. Depending on the retailer you're buying it from, that's kind of where they're selling it at. If you buy it on eBay, you can get it for a little bit cheaper. Also on the website, it's in like a different foreign market price point, but it's around that price point between $200 and $250. So if you can find it for that price, it's pretty decent. I'm okay with that, with the different things you can do with it, and especially if you're a Dejuiced fan, this works really solid with all their programs and all their apps, and we're going to talk about that. It also does have MIDI mapping for Tractor Pro 2. I know that's pretty old. I did not test it with Tractor Pro 3 because there's no mapping for it, but it is a MIDI controller, so you could map it for that if you are very into that. I think it would work if you wanted to use it for Tractor Pro. Virtual DJ Pro, it does work if you have the full, if you're paying for the full subscriptions to all the controllers out there, it will work with Virtual DJ as a 2-channel controller. And it also works with DJ Pro if you're paying for that. It does work for Mac and PC, so very good. And like I said, it does have a Dejuiced app that it'll work with on your tablet. If you have a newer iPad or a newer iPad mini, that app does work with that program. With the Dejuiced app and the Master app, it will work that on older phones as well. I have the Master app actually on my iPhone 13, so that's just basically a remote app that you can do a few things like mess around with some FX, play, pause, start songs, do things like that. Just little basic things if you are away from your controller and away from your PC. Mingling, you could still start a song, stop a song, things like that from the remote app, which is kind of cool. One little thing I want to point is make sure that you do download drivers from the website. You'll have to go to the website, look up the controller, and go to the support side of the options, and you can pick to download the drivers. You will need the drivers for the controller and for the audio drivers for that. So just download that and install it on your computer, and you'll have no issues. Just plug and play. Pretty easy to use. It does come, when you buy it, with a quick start guide, a CD, USB, and it was pretty easy to set up and use, no problem. Pros, definitely price point. At 200 bucks, it's not bad. You can definitely find it used around that price point, and it can do a different thing. And I still think it's still good in 2023. With the technology of being able to use it Bluetooth with a tablet and things like that, I still think it's worth it. It is a nice little mini portable controller as a backup. This would be solid for any professional or intermediate DJ. Great for beginners though, if you're starting and you just need a simple controller with basic setup. Great cables in the back, RCA, basic stuff. 3.5 millimeter jack, you can run it to pretty much any speaker with that 3.5, and you're good to go. So pretty simple, pretty basic, but you know, could be for anybody out there. So I do like the jog wheels. They are touch sensitive. It is portable, metal tops on those jog wheels, so that's pretty cool. The rest of it's plastic, but all the pads and everything feel really, really nice. Actually, very nice for the price point that you're getting this. They're not plastic, they're actual pads, so that's nice. They're not plastic buttons. It backlights very nice, so it's very bright. The lights are super bright, even brighter than the DDJ 200, which is a very similar controller that has a Bluetooth, and it also has its own app, WeDJ, and it works really, really good with that program. So also a good controller if you're looking for a Bluetooth type controller. There's only a few out there on the market, you know, DDJ 200. Hercules makes another one that's a little bit of a smaller portable. I think it's called the DJ Control. It has Bluetooth, but you have a little bit more features and things with this controller, including the browser. So there's not a lot of controllers that have Bluetooth. Like Reloop has a few too, but they're very expensive. So you really jump up in price when you start talking about that. So some of the cons is the price point. I think it could be comparable to the DDJ 200. I think they should get the price comparable with that controller, especially since this controller is 10 years old, unless they're going to update this to an MK2 version or an updated model. I think they should get closer to that $159 mark, because that DDJ 200 is that price point, and it works really, really good. Good Bluetooth, good app. It works solid, and it plugs and play too with virtual DJ and I think Serato as well, maybe. But very cool, that controller. So I think they should bring the price down a little bit on this controller just to make it competitive with that DDJ 200. Runs on a battery, so you can run it on the battery or just plug it straight into your laptop. You can plug it into an outlet too, but make sure you're running the right voltage for that. So just look it up in the specs and you should be able to figure that out. Fader qualities was my only issue with the negatives. Like I said, they feel real plastic, and you know, they're not super solid, but something to get around if you are, you know, just practice with it, no problem. It does have the multi-screen capability, which is, you know, cool, but I don't know a lot of DJs that are going to use all these devices at the same time. With the remote app, you know, a tablet, if you're running a tablet, it just leaves room for error or interference or things like that. When you're using all these, something to freeze, something to, you know, break down on you. So I don't know if you're going to be using all those, but it does work really solid, plugged into your laptop or with the wireless Bluetooth to just a tablet, and you're using that Dejuiced app software. So solid. The multi-screen, if you're using multiple things, like I said, it did work, no problem. You could open that master remote app as well with another device, but like I said, it just leaves a little room for things to fail. But it all worked solid. Never had too many issues, except the last thing I'll talk about is the little bit of latency that I did have with the Dejuiced app software when I was doing mixes and stuff. So it did work. It was pretty good, but there was some latency that I did pick up just a little bit. So I would not be doing complicated super mixes wirelessly through the Bluetooth on this particular program. If you're just doing basic mixing, maybe you're just mobile DJing a separate room, or mobile DJing a wedding where you're not doing super complicated mixes, it would work. It would work. I would more qualify this for a party. You know, if you're partying, if you're doing a quick, you know, person's party at someone's house or things like that, absolutely the quality you want. You'll be fine. You could do it. You're not going to be doing super complicated mixes and things like that. But if you're doing more of a wedding, I wouldn't be relying on wireless Bluetooth things for that. You want to be a little bit more professional and, you know, keep things plugged in and stuff. So mobile DJ wise, I probably wouldn't do that. But if you're definitely doing a party, you want to be portable, you're doing small gigs, things like that, absolutely this could work as a really fast mobile, you know, setup. So absolutely it would work, but I wouldn't be doing complicated mixes with the Dejuice software, just because there was a little bit of latency issues and you could have some issues doing your mixes and things like that occasionally. But it was working pretty solidly for the most part, which I was honestly impressed. Other than that, I think that's about it. I just wanted to bring up that it does work with those softwares again. Virtual DJ, the Dejuiced app, especially if you hardwire plug it in and you're paying for the subscription for the DJ algorithm app. That magic button is just the new assist, so it will assist you finding songs with the correct BPM, and it'll assist you helping you DJ, so that's pretty cool. For the most part, final thoughts, like I said, who is this for? It is for a beginner, but if you're a DJ that likes to be mobile and portable, absolutely. This is a little bit older technology, but you can definitely be portable with it, take it anywhere you want, hook up to an iPad mini, and all you need is this, the controller, a little speaker that you can plug in even with a 3.5 millimeter jack, and boom, you're actually connected with a little portable DJ setup. So absolutely portable, which is a positive. Beginning DJ, a DJ that likes to be super portable and do little mini gigs anywhere, could be awesome. This also could be a great backup for any professional DJ. Like I said, it does have that auxiliary channel. If anybody's gotten that auxiliary channel to work with Virtual DJ, I did not have luck getting it to connect and show it as the drivers to show it as an auxiliary channel. I couldn't get it to show up. If anybody's got some tips or tricks on that, let me know. So Virtual DJ, I did have some issues showing that auxiliary channel, but it did work plug and play as a 2-channel controller, no problem, and I was able to do everything that you normally can do on this controller with Virtual DJ as well. So great backup controller in that perspective. Overall, for being a 10-year-old controller, I still think it could be valid today. No problem, still sells on their website at herculesdj.com, and pretty solid for what it is. If you can find it for around $200, I think that's a great value. Also a great beginning Bluetooth controller that you might want to check out too is that DDJ Pioneer 200. Also works Bluetooth and works with its own app as well, and it works pretty solid. So that's all I got for you today. If this is helpful at all, please leave me a like, subscribe, or share. This has been the Hercules Universal DJ Controller. Still think it's okay in 2023, and you should go check it out. Thank you so much for tuning in. DJ Martini Midwest, and we'll catch you really, really soon on the next video.